Am I too old to be a YouTuber at 43 years old? You should have a normal job. Why are you trying to change? What are you doing? What do you think this is? Do you think the world is a playground? This is things that I've heard from nobody, except for myself. And since the story that I'm telling myself is the only one that actually matters, it's up to me to make it a good one. The fears that I have in doing this is that whenever you make a big change in your life, people around you are going to react and they're going to think things about you that you cannot control. And if you fail at doing your change, you will prove their judgment right. And that, I think, is the biggest fear that I have right now. I love to tell stories. I love to tell stories about good things that happens in the world. And I really hope that I will be able to make a living doing that. I don't need to make $1 million. The important thing is to be able to go around the world and explore all the stories that are out there. I want to go to Svalbard like I planned, and I want to go to South Africa and find something there, and I want to go to Gnesta outside Stockholm and find something there as well. Wherever the story is, I want to be able to follow it. I hope that by doing this work, brands around the world will recognize what I'm doing and would want to work with me. And by working with me, they can help me change the world, and I can help them change the world. I'm totally uninterested in becoming an influencer who promotes shampoo or hamburgers or cars. That's not who I am. I want to make good things happen. When I tell my stories, it's the person in front of the camera who's the star. I don't need to put my face out there unless I have something good to say. Whenever I show my face, there will be something that I want to tell you. Otherwise, I will let the story speak for itself. So who am I and how did I end up here? Well, in short, the story goes something like this. I had a nice, quiet upbringing. I was a fat child. I got over the fatness. I met a girl at 24. 9 months later, my brother died. There was a recovery period of a couple of years. In 2007, I started learning filmmaking and TV production. I get married 10 months later. 1 month later, my dad dies. I get my first daughter 2 months later, still on 27. And the week after that, I start my new career in the filmmaking industry. This year, 2007, really fucks me up. But since I have responsibilities beyond myself now, I just ignore the pain and I move on. So I work for a while, for about a year in different places before the financial crisis hits in 2008.
Everywhere, essentially.
The NASDAQ, everything.
And the company I'm working for back then says, we can't afford to have you here, but you get a half-time freelance contract. And I was, yay, super happy. And this is where I started my own business. And just for reference, back in 2009, when I proposed to a client that they should have a film on their landing page, on their web page, and they were like, why? Why should we have a film on our web page? They didn't even understand that I said, you should have a new film on your web page each week. And over the last 15 years, a lot has changed. Child 2 and 3 comes along with 2-year intervals. I also start new businesses and I grow them at the same time. But the problem is, I never laugh, I never cry, and I don't take care of myself mentally or physically. And it's a downward spiral from there. 10 years of lousy economy, super high stressful workload and growing companies and managing employees and projects left and right. And with this emotional numbness that I'm experiencing, or not experiencing because I don't know that it's there, but people around me start noticing and they start asking me if I'm okay, because they don't see me reacting with emotions to anything. So my relationship ends, divorce, and this is in 2018. And now my second life begins. Slowly I try to start figuring out who I am and what I like. Anything from which color do I want on the wall to which furniture do I like when it's not a compromise anymore. I try everything. I start running. I start using Tinder, which is a completely new world for me because it didn't exist last time I was single. Eating better, working out more, meditating. I start experimenting with the different components of life to make a better version of myself. So my main objective becomes to be free, to be able to decide for myself, because I realized that in all of my adult life, I never made the decisions based on what I want, and this has to change. What I'm looking forward to now is telling stories, and I know this is a bit vague, but what I mean is that I want to find people who are super passionate about things that makes the planet better, even in the slightest way. And it can be filmmakers, it can be musicians, it can be entrepreneurs, farmers, it can be anything, as long as it's an interesting person who's doing interesting things, preferably very, very narrow things. My core belief is that good stories about good things makes the world better. But I can't tell all these stories myself. I need help. So my goal is to share all my knowledge, all my mistakes, all my learnings for you to be able to make stories like this yourself. Because if we all start sharing stories about good things that are happening around the world is gonna be a better place. So am I too old to be a YouTuber at 43? Well, I don't think so. But I am so incredibly grateful for the opportunity that I have in my life to try new things, to experiment and to learn new things, to try and figure out what I want to do with it. I could never have figured this out when I was 23, but I'm so eternally grateful for being able to figure it out when I'm 43, until it changes again, because it will change again. I know that I have to continue to learn new things always, because once I'm standing still, I start dying. And I don't want to die. Not ever. There is just too much interesting stuff in the world. I don't have time to die. So, see you in the next one. You should have a normal job, nej.